Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects going on here. Just me going bald. So please check out Star Trek Fridays, Flashback Mondays. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do them with the decorations. I can't get to my books, but I have a request for Christmas. I'm looking for a Christmas miracle. It doesn't look like it's happening so far. I would like 1,000 subscribers as my Christmas present. Those of you who've already subscribed, thank you very much, but I do need 900 more. So please spread the word. Please like and subscribe. Help me out here. And this reading with your own challenge, I've been doing it all year. I've read over 400 books this year thus far. We're going through my J.D. Robb, which we're going to do later. We read all of Krista Davis. We read most of Laurel. We read Lindsay Sands. We read Carolyn Sparks. We read so many of my books that I own. So I am. And right now we're doing, as I previously stated, for the month of December, because I have so much, I'm lacking family, should I say. Everybody has passed away. Several members passed away during this time period. So I go to my comfort readings, and that's my J.D. Robb and Janet. She gives you a good laugh. So we did 1 for the money, 2 for the dough, 3 to get deadly, 4 score, high 5, hot 6, 7 up, hard 8 to the 9s. Now we are doing 10 big ones, and we have some good moments in this one. And I like to read my books, and I apologize for distraction, but I love to read my books, and I love to share them with you. So I'm hoping you'll stick around and go through the book with me. It is Christmas. Anyways, the 10 big ones. And you find out the title like in the last paragraph. But anyway, we start off the book. She still got her car from the last book, which is a very rare thing to have a car last from a book to book. But it doesn't last that long. She's got a situation. A situation. So join this walk through me. And while I'm thinking of it, we've got, I forgot my list, but I pretty much know it. Stephanie PLUM, bounty hunter. Lulu, her co-worker. Connie, the office manager. Vinny owns the bond business that she works for. Joe Morelli, cop, on again, off again boyfriend. Ranger, on again, off again, mischievous lover, maybe. Salacious, hot lover, on again, off again. Grandmommy Zero, a comedy relief. Tank, Ranger stalwart employee. He's built like a tank, that's why his nickname is Tank. He will be a future love interest for Miss Lula, spoiler there. We have Valerie, Stephanie's sister. Albert, her fiance. We have 3 children, Mary Alice, and Lisa, and I forget the other one. The one that drives me crazy with the horse stuff. She needs to grow out of that. So we're going through this book. Oh, and we will see an old familiar face, Mr. Salvatore Sweet, or his nickname is Sally Sweet. We will see him in this book. We will visit a couple of frequent. Carl Costanza is her friend cop, and what's the other guy's name? There's another Eddie Garcia. He's the other cop, and we're gonna learn some Berg secrets here. So to set the whole thing up, Lula and Stephanie are trying to decide on what to have for lunch. And they're having a discussion about Lula's job title. The job title is tricky since I do a lot of this here bounty hunter stuff, but I never really been given any of my own cases, Lula said. I suppose I could be your bodyguard. Oh my god. Lula narrowed her eyes at me. You got a problem with that? It seems a little Hollywood. Yeah, but sometimes you need some extra firepower, right? And there I am. Hell, you don't even carry a gun. Half the time, I'm always got a gun. I got a gun now, just in case. And Lula pulled out a 40 caliber Glock out of her purse. She pulled it up. She doesn't need it right now, but she just pulled it up. 5 seconds from now, she's gonna need it and not be able to find it. And she put it back, but when she can't pull it back out again. Go figure that one. I don't mind using it either. I'm good with a gun. I got an eye for it. Watch me hit that bottle next to the bike. Someone had leaned a fancy red mountain bike against the big plate glass window in front of the deli mart. There was a quart bottle next to the bike. The bottle had a rag stuffed into it. No, I said, no shooting. Too late. Lula squeezed off a shot, missed the bottle, and destroyed the bike's rear tire. Oops, Lula said, doing a grimace and immediately returning the gun to her purse. See? She had it, she reached in, she got it, she pulled it out, she used it, she put it back. Now she can't find it. Go figure that. Oops, Lula said, doing a grimace and immediately returning the gun to her purse. A moment later, a guy ran out of the store. He was wearing a mechanic's jumpsuit and a red devil mask. He had a small backpack slung over one shoulder, and he had a gun in his right hand. His skin tone was darker than mine, but lighter than Lula's. He grabbed the bottle off the ground, lit the rag with a flick of his pick, and threw the bottle into the store. He turned to get onto the bike and realized his tire was blown to smithereens. F, the guy said. F. I didn't do it, Lula said. Wasn't me. Someone came along and shot up your tire. You must not be popular. This was a lot of shouting inside the store. The guy in the devil mask turned to flee, and Victor, the Pakistani day manager, rushed out the door. I'm done. Do you hear me? Victor yelled. This is the 4th robbery this month, and I won't stand for any more. You are dog excrement, he shouted at the guy in the mask. Dog excrement. Lula had her hand back in her purse. Hold on. I got a gun, she said. Where the H is it? Why can't you ever find the damn gun when you need it? Told you. Victor threw the still lit but clearly unbroken bottle at the guy in the devil mask, hitting him in the back of the head. The bottle bounced off the devil's head and smashed against my driver's side door. The devil staggered and instinctively pulled the mask off. Maybe he couldn't breathe, or maybe he went to feel for blood, or maybe he just wasn't thinking. Whatever the reason, the mask was off for a second before being yanked back over the guy's head. He turned and looked directly at me, and then he ran across the street and disappeared into the alley between two buildings. The bottle instantly ignited when it hit my car, and flames raced along the side and the undercarriage of the Escape. Holy app, Lula said, looking up from her purse. Damn, why me? I shrieked. Why does this always happen to me? I can't believe this car is on fire. My car is always getting exploded. How many cars have I lost like this since you've known me? A lot. It's embarrassing. What am I going to tell my insurance company? It wasn't your fault. It's never my fault. Do they care? I don't think they care. You've got bad karma, Lula said, but at least you're lucky at love. Now, We start the book. Um, she's been living with Morelli for a few months, but they're having a difference of opinion on Stephanie's work status. So, uh, so they having. I just said that. So, I wanted to mention it wasn't my fault, I told him. This got a genuine smile from him. Cupcake, it's never your fault. His eyes traveled to the red mountain bike with the destroyed tire. What's with the bike? Lula accidentally shot the tire. Then a guy wearing a red devil mask ran out of the store, took a look at the bike, tossed a Marvel cocktail into the store, and set off on foot. The bottle didn't break, so Victor pitched it at the devil. The bottle bounced off the devil's head and crashed against my car. I didn't hear the part about Lula shooting the tire. Yeah, I figured it wasn't necessary to mention that in the official statement. I looked past Morelli as a black Porsche 911 Turbo pulled to the curb. There weren't a lot of people in Trenton who could afford the car, mostly high-level drug dealers and Ranger. He gets out, he looks, he goes, babe, and leaves. That's what Ranger mostly says, babe, and leaves. So, then she gets a new FTA for Hal Penchak. He peed on the wedding cake, or the neighbor's cat. Look, Carol Cantrell is buying too many Fritos. She got arrested for holding up a Frito truck. So then she goes to her parents for dinner, and Morelli calls her to ID the robber. They go there. It wasn't the right guy. They have to go pick up Sally Sweet. Sally Sweet had a little bit of a accident in a bar. A guy tried to pick her up as a girl, and he tried to explain to the guy that he was a guy, and things didn't work out. So Stephanie goes to handle that situation. Then they go to McDonald's, and they see the devil people, the gang. They go after the gang, and they call the cops, and in pursuit, Eddie Garcia gets shot. Then we have to learn about Valerie and Cloud being so busy. They're the reason that Stephanie is living with Joe right now, is because they're living in her apartment until they can find living arrangements of their own, because they were all living at Stephanie's parents' place, and there's only one bathroom in Stephanie's parents' place. And I've been wondering, why haven't they put in a second half bath downstairs? We did that in our houses. But anyway, so apparently she's on the hit list for gang slayers too. But I wanted to share this other little piece with you before we get too far, to explain the Berg rumor mill. The first call always comes from Tracy Wenke and Myron Flatt, on account of they listen to the police band on their radios, Grandma said. And then Elsa Downing probably called. She finds out early because her daughter works as a dispatcher. And I bet Shirley called to see if she could drop the kids off so she could go to the hospital. She's a nurse. I parked the Buick, and by the time I got to my mother, her face was white, and I expected steam to begin curling out of her ears at any moment. Don't start, I said. I'm not talking about it until I've had some cake. Gotta have that cake. And that's another thing. I've mentioned this previously before. I'm driving down the road, there's a Krispy Kreme. I think of Janet. I pick up a Janet book, I think of Krispy Kreme. They go together. Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, Cluck in a Bucket. I associate them with these books. I associate the donuts with these books. I cannot think of Janet without thinking of a donut, and I cannot think of a donut without thinking of Janet. It's just a thing. And some JD Robb books have donuts in them too. Nadine's bringing them for the bullpen. So we can't get away from this food. And so another big moment in the book is Stephanie and Joe having a conversation that leads to an additional situation. Joe and Bob were on the porch watching television. I dropped my purse on the small hall table and took the grocery bag into the kitchen. I made sandwiches and spooned out the potato salad. I'm thinking about getting a cookbook, I told Morelli when I handed him his plate. Wow, he said, what's that all about? I'm tired of sandwiches and pizza. A cookbook sounds like a big commitment. It's not a commitment, I said. It's a stupid cookbook. I could learn how to cook a chicken or cow or something. Would we have to get married? No, geez. Bob finished his sandwich and looked first to me and then to Bob. He knew from past experience that it wasn't likely we'd share, so he put his head down on the pot and went back to watching Seinfeld. So, did you hear about Eugene Brown? What about him? I bounced him off my car today. Morelli took a forkful of potato salad. I'm going to hate the rest of this story. And it goes on. I thought they came to the realization. No. Morelli looked over his cup at me. I thought you were all settled in here. What about the cookbook? I like living with you, but sometimes I miss my independence. Like when? Okay, maybe independence is the wrong word. Maybe I miss my own bathroom. Morelli grabbed me and kissed me. I told you, but not enough to add a second bathroom. But I'm not budgeted for any more renovations. He set his cup on the counter and headed for the front of his house. Bob ran with him, woofing, jumping around like a rabbit. Bob needs to go out. Your turn, Morelli said. I'm late, and besides, you owe me for the shower. What? What do you mean I owe you for the shower? He shrugged in a jacket. I did your favorite thing today. Almost drowning, do it. I think I got a bruise on my knee. She gets in so much trouble. Where are we? Okay. So, Ranger's going out of town. So he comes by and tells them he's going out of town. And so they continue to go for skips. And because she did the thing in Slayerville and she drove through Slayerville with the Buick, unknowns to her, those were gang colors. And so Joe's house gets spray painted with graffiti, his sidewalk, everything gets spray painted. And Stephanie is feeling guilty that Morelli had his house. It will get fixed easily, but she doesn't want to go to her parents because of the gang situation. She can't go to her apartment because Valerie's living in there, and now Joe's house has been attacked, even though he's a cop. So she can't drive around, and her car's been exploded. The Buick is out of commission for a day. It got spray painted, but it'll get fixed. The Buick Big Blue never gets hurt, never gets permanently hurt, damaged in any way, shape, or form. Keep that in mind. Big Blue is the hero. He never gets injured ever. So she calls Tank for the truck. and she gets the truck. Ranger offered her one of his vehicles before he left, so she takes the truck. And the other discussion. So first we were leaning towards the cookbook. So Morelli is upset that she got Ranger's truck. He doesn't like her association with Ranger. I guess he's jealous. Just like Stephanie is jealous of the Terry Gilman situation. And my Lord have mercy. Did you see me through all that? I'll have to check. I don't know. My computer went wonky. I was trying to show you. My co-host in his bed. So I hope you saw me through all that. I didn't see you. So my computer went wonky. Tried to log into a website that I don't even own anymore. So this is a big moment here. She gets the truck from Ranger. You could have borrowed my SUV, Morelli said. You didn't offer to me because I wanted you to stay in the house today. One day, Morelli said. Was that too much to ask? I stayed in the house for most of the day. Most of the day isn't all of the day. What about tomorrow? It's going to be ugly, Morelli said. You're going to be on a rant about women's equality and personal freedom. And I'm going to be waving my arms and yelling because I'm an Italian cop and that's what we do when women are irrational. He wants her to stay in the house and be safe from all this gang stuff because there's a hit on her and the gangs are after her. But she wants to go out and pursue her skips. She wants to pursue her life. And Morelli is worried about her. It's not about women's equality and personal freedom. It isn't political, it's personal. I want you to support my career choice. You don't have a career, Morelli said. You have a suicide mission. Most women try to avoid murders and rapists. I have a girlfriend who goes out trying to find them. And if murderers and rapists weren't bad enough, now you've pissed off a gang. These gang people should get a grip. The least little thing and they're all bent out of shape. What's the deal with them? That's how they have fun, Morelli said. Maybe the police should try to get them involved in hobby like woodworking or something. Yeah, maybe we could get it to replace all the drug dealing and killings they're doing now. Are they really that bad? Yes, they're really that bad. Morelli shut the television off and came over to me. What the hell happened to you? He said, looking more closely at my jeans. I had to Roger Banker down. What's this in your hair? I'm hoping it's dog drool. I don't get it, Morelli said. Other women are happy to stay home. My sister stays home. My brother's wives stay home. My mother stays home. My grandmother stays home. Your grandmother is insane. And we will talk about Grandma Bella. You're right. My grandmother doesn't count. I'm sure there'll be a time in my life when I want to stay home. This isn't it, I said. So I'm ahead of my time. I smiled at him and kissed him lightly on the lips. Yeah. He pulled me close to him. You don't expect me to wait, do you? Yep. I'm not good at waiting. Deal with it, I said, pushing away. Morelli narrowed his eyes. Deal with it. Excuse me? Okay, maybe I said a little more authoritatively than I intended, but my day hadn't been all that great. Plus, I was feeling just a tad defensive over the foreign substance in my hair that might have been dog drool. but then maybe not. I could have ended the conversation there, but I didn't think it was smart to back down on the issue, and the truth is, I was working my way out of Morelli's house. I'm not staying home. End of discussion. The hell, this is the end, Morelli said. Oh, yeah, well, end this. And I gave him the finger and headed for the stairs. Very adult, Morelli said. Nice to know you've thought this through and have it reduced to a hand gesture. I've thought it through and I have a plan. I'm leaving. Morelli followed me upstairs. Leaving? That's a plan? It's a temporary plan. I took the laundry basket from the closet and started putting my clothes in it. I have a plan too, Morelli. It's called You're Staying. Well, do your plan next time. I emptied my lingerie drawer into his basket. What's this? Morelli said, picking out lavender string bikini underpants. I like these. You want to fool around? No. Actually, I sort of did, but didn't seem in keeping with the current plan. She packs all his stuff up and leaves. On the surface, that sounds reasonable, but the reality of it is I'd give up my job and hide. I was telling the truth. I didn't want to start every day off with an argument, but I also didn't want to wake up to more graffiti on Joe's house. I didn't want a firebomb through his front window. I didn't want a slayer breaking in when I was alone and in the shower. I needed a place to stay that was unknown to the slayers. Not Joe's house, not her parents' house, not Morelli's house. Who does that leave? Shall we speculate? So they resolve Sally Sweet's situation. They find a place for Valerie and Albert to live in, but the place is not available for 2 weeks. And Steph is pulling her hair out. She wants her apartment back. They go shopping for a car for Steph because Ranger's car is just too prominent. She wants something that'll blend in that she can sneak around the neighborhood for. Lula sets her up with a dealer. The dealer panics 6 ways to Sunday when he discovers who she is and with the Slayers, and he says take a car, so they take a Lincoln Town car. She tries to catch a skip. The Red Devil has an issue. There's more gang stuff. She rebels a little bit. Why did I write this down? So here's the unfortunate truth. I called Morelli because I didn't want to go anywhere near Anton Ward. Problem is, when Morelli issues it as a demand, my ears go flat against my head. My eyes narrow and I take a stance with my head down, ready to lock horns. I don't know why I do this. I think it might have been something to do with curly hair and being born in New Jersey. And needless to say, this isn't the first time it's happened. Am I suppose it's okay for you to go after him? I said to Morelli. I'm a cop. We go after criminals. That's why you called me, right? Am I a fugitive? I am a fugitive apprehension agent. Don't take this the wrong way, Morelli said, but you're not a great apprehension agent. I get the job done. You're a magnet for disaster. Okay, hotshot. I said, I'll give you 24 hours to get him. Then he's mine. I put my phone back in my bag and looked over at Lula. Guess you told him. So I wanted to share with you Stephanie has an idea. She's got Ranger's truck that's been used by Ranger. It has GPS. And she uses the GPS to go backwards, to trace the vehicle steps backwards. And she ends up at Ranger's building. And then she's got his keys. And the keys not only are to the building, but they are to his penthouse apartment. And she makes her way up to her penthouse, his uh, penthouse. Batcave. And she spends a couple of nights there. It's very, very good. So she hides out in Rangers because that's the only place that no one else would ever think to look to her at Rangers, and no one's going to attack Rangers' place. So the things get really bad with the Slayers, and they finally do catch the devil bomb guy, and Lula, Connie, and Stephanie decide that they're going to bond the guy out of jail, keep him in cuffs, and roll him up in a blanket and kidnap him, take him to an undisclosed location, and torture him not very well until he divulges XYZ information, because a professional hitman has the gang has put a hit. They've hired a hitman to put a hit on Stephanie. And I wanted to bring this one last couple of items up, but like I said, I can't read these books and talk about these books without sharing, because they are so good. And I'm going to do the same with JD Robb later. I thought I turned and looked out the window in time to see Ranger pull away in the big bag truck. A shiny black SUV with tinted windows was left at the curbside behind the Cayenne. "This makes me so brave," I said. "Huh?" Lula said, following my eyes to the SUV. "I knew that." Lula and I left the bonds and climbed into the Cheyenne. "I thought we'd drive past Pennock's house." "Yes." "Are you going to try?" Where did I? Oh. All right, let's back up here. So, we were talking about the cookbook before, and Stephanie moved out of Morelli's because he wanted her to stay home and she wanted her career. Now, this is going to be the preface it for some future books here. For starters, I want to change it to I made a major effort not to sigh. Long story, you probably don't want to hear it. Out of morbid curiosity, what sort of relationship do we have? It looks to me like we're in the off stage of an on again, off again, or maybe we're still on again, but in a remote sort of way. Suppose I wanted to change it to full-time on again. For starters, you'd have to get a new job, or even better, no job at all. No job? You could be a housewife, Morelli said. Our eyes locked in a stunned disbelief that he'd suggested such a thing. Or maybe not a housewife. I sensed a slur on my ability to housewife. I could be a housewife if I wanted. I'd be a good one too. Sure you would, Morelli said. Eventually, maybe. It's just that I was surprised because marriage is usually a prerequisite to being a housewife. Yeah, Morelli said. Isn't that a frightful thought? And so that is the preface it for the future books. But I also wanted to see if I can find it here. Wait a second here. She heard a noise. I was on my stomach with my face smashed into the pillow. I squinted at the bedside clock. 2 o'clock. I didn't want to get out of bed. To quote Grandma Missour, I was snug as a bug in a rug. I closed my eyes. The hell with the light. I was trying hard to ignore the light when I heard the faint rustle of clothing from the far side of the room. If I was a man, this would have been the point where my gonads ran for cover and I hid inside my body. Since I didn't have any gonads, I kept my eyes closed and hoped death came quickly. After 20 seconds of this, I got impatient with waiting for death. I opened my eyes and rolled onto my back. Ranger was leaning one shoulder against the door jamb, his arms loosely crossed over his chest. He was dressed in his usual work outfit of black t-shirt and black cargo pants. I'm trying to decide if I should throw you out the window or if I should get in next to you, Ranger said, not looking especially surprised or angry. Are there any other options? I asked. What are you doing here? I needed a safe place to stay. His mouth curved at the corners, not quite a smile, but definitely amusement. And you think this is safe? It was until you came home. His eyes were unwavering, fixed on me. What scares you more, getting thrown out the window or sleeping with me? I sat up in bed, pulling the covers up with me. Don't flatter yourself. You're not that scary. Liar, liar, pants on fire. That almost smile stayed in place. I saw the gun and the flak vest when I came in. I told him about the death threat from Junkman. You could have asked Tank for help, Ranger said. I don't always feel comfortable with Tank. And you feel comfortable with me? I hesitated with my answer. Babe, you're in my bed. So, check it out. Um, my co-host just left, so you didn't see him. He slept through the whole thing. I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't that bad. We're going to 11 on top, and I hope you enjoyed the 10 big ones. To find out who saves Stephanie's butt, you'll be surprised. A yellow school bus will save her butt. And what happens with Joe and Morelli and Ranger and the whole menage a trois kind of thing. You know, for years there, I thought, because I was reading those type of books, and we're talking 20, 30 years ago, my Laurels, she had Richard and Jean Claude, and I thought, why can't Stephanie have both Ranger and Joe? But they're so different types, it wouldn't work out. And I don't see how Janet will ever make the decision. We will do Victoria Thompson, and she was saved by a fellow student who gave her the brilliant idea of this XYZ thing, and it was perfect. It was brilliant. I don't know if Stephanie will ever choose between Joe and Morelli. I mean, Morelli and Ranger. It's 30 books, and she hasn't chosen yet. So we'll see. But continue with me. We're doing 30 days of Janet. This is book 10. We'll go on to 11 on top, 12 sharp. Working our way towards 30, dirty 30, which will be under my tree on Christmas Day. It's been wrapped up. I haven't seen it. I gave it to my spouse to wrap. And we're going to unbox it Christmas Day. So have a good one. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to go on to some JD Robb, and then we'll get to 11 on top. And we got some JP Beaumont to get back to. Doing a lot of reading nowadays. So please help me reach those subscribers. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.